Hey everybody, welcome back to When Words Fail Music Speaks, the podcast. I'm your handicapped host, James Andrew Cox. I don't know why I said my middle name, everybody knows that. But but this podcast is where we fight depression with the power of music. I am here with Patrick Boylan. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Sometimes I get that wrong. So, all right. So first, let me tell you about him before we bring him on. Today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with Patrick Bolin, a talented multi-instrumentalist and versatile musician based in LA, Los Angeles. So Patrick brings his skill in piano, guitar, mandolin, and more instruments to various roles. From his lively piano bar residency at Tramp Stamp Granny's, which is an awesome name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coaching aspiring vocalist. I can't talk today for some reason, but that's okay. He has accompanied auditions from major Broadway shows like Hamilton and Phantom of the Opera, and his voice has him start in award-winning commercial campaigns. Whether as a music director, accompanist, or vocal coach, Patrick's dedication has to his craft shines through every performance. He is also the co-founder of the Music Flow. Patrick, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, thank you so much. What a lovely introduction.
I hope that was all right, because I tried to shorten and sweet, and I took this and this and this, so everything's correct.
That was all correct, except for not Music Flow. It's Muse Flow.
I'm so sorry, Muse Flow.
Totally fine. No, yeah.
Music is on my brain right now. I can't,
right.
Stop. Yeah. But first, you are based in LA right now, correct?
Yep. Yes, I am.
So I want to know what the music scene is like down there, because every country, every city, not country, city has different music scenes, some better, some worse. What is it like in LA right now?
It's good. We've got pockets for everything. We've got pockets for emo music. We've got pockets for folk music. We got pockets for jazz. They're all around too. Jazz scene up in North Hollywood, some blues down in Mid-City, and it's all based around the restaurants or the venues that we've got available to us. So right. I play at a couple a piano bar, which is the piano bar itself is focused on Disney musical theater, pop rock, millennial stuff.
Right.
So we've got a lot of My Chemical Romance that's coming up there, a lot of different genres, but then we'll flip over to Cabaret, the musical. So it's such a weird sort of vibe but it's all kind of millennials, people that love different genres of music. And so that's really fun. And then I play jazz at a couple other places around LA, just background jazz for dinner service, at restaurants. So I do that. And then my cohort is we got a bunch of pianists that we pass gigs around to each other. So They range from classical pianists to jazz pianists to blues to musical theater. It's all kind of meshed together a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. Well, since Halloween has passed, happy Halloween, first of all. And
happy Halloween to you.
Halloween. Because I know most people don't, when some people do. I just want to know your love or hate for Halloween and what you do.
Who hates Halloween?
I don't know, man. I know the hardcore Christians think that it's the Satan worshiping day, so them. But I'm not I'm a Christian, but I'm not evil. Halloween's evil, I understand that's fun and everything, but the hardcore Christians were no. So do you share that sentiment, or are you full blown trick or treating?
I love Halloween. I think it's really fun. It's a cool opportunity for kids to get on out. Our neighborhood gets wild during Halloween. We've got 2 houses that are right up the street from us that go crazy. With decorations, sound effects, moving gravestones and stuff, and a ton of fog. So the kids, and it's so great because we got hills here. And so the fog just rolls down the hill that we live on.
Yeah.
And it's magical. you're creating this like magical atmosphere for the kids to go on out there and like, yeah, it's a candy and whatnot, but like
Exactly.
it it's fun. It's like Disneyland. It's you're pretending, you're getting into your imagination for a second and getting scared. And like that's really fun for me.
Yeah. What is your favorite Halloween song? Since we are talking about music and everything.
I think it may be This Is Halloween from
This is yeah.
yeah,
Not
Nightmare Before
yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play like Oogie Boogie song and This Is Halloween and
I love Oogie. I didn't know this, but the actor who played his voice recently passed, which is
oh, he
kind
did?
of yeah, which is kind
Oh,
of
R.I.P.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because man, I haven't seen him in years. Well, I never knew that he did his voice until I heard him sing the Oogie Boogie song. I'm like, yes, the Oogie Boogie
Oogie
song.
Boogie.
Right,
Yeah, he's so fun. So
right.
fun.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your favorite Halloween song?
It's got to be Monster Mash, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
classic. Right.
yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
great.
because I don't know if you know. Well, you probably know, but the Misfits, you know.
Misfits. Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
got the shirt the other day. Misfits does a really really badass cover of the Monster Mash, and
I should check that out, actually.
yeah,
I'm gonna write
they
that
actually
down.
have two versions of it. I think the one that I like the most is the studio version, and they have the live version. Um, but
And do you
other
like
than
which one do
that,
you like? Which one do you like better?
I think it's the studio one with Michael
You like the
Graves.
studio one?
There's two different singers with covers. They did one with Michael Graves and one with Jerry Only, which sings now for him. But yeah,
Nice.
I love the Misfits, you know. So
They're
that's
great, man.
I go
They're
to
great.
them like every time I just want to get out of a funk. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're your band that just gets you out of a bad mood.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
Everybody
Even
needs that.
right. Yeah. Especially the album American Cycle because they have non-stop hits, track after track after track.
Hell yeah.
What albums do you consider like the best out of the best? There's no skippable tracks ever.
Rumors, Fleetwood Mac.
Fair. Okay.
I grew up with Dave Matthews Band, and
Yeah.
I'm not like that classic demo that people like love. You know, the frat boy. I wasn't a frat guy back in
No.
college, but like that I love Dave Matthews Band. So I will listen to his Central Park concert.
Yeah.
I remember I got that it was like a 2-disc DVD set. And we got that one year, and I ended up watching that and listening to it. Also, his Radio City Music Hall
Yeah.
concert.
Right.
It's acoustic. Like that album
That's
is incredible.
great. Yeah. Yeah.
I think those are my favorite two. I'll just listen straight through those. Any other ones? Like
Yeah.
honestly,
I mean,
during COVID, I actually really loved Folklore by Taylor
okay.
Swift.
Okay. That's a classic album because everybody who I know that listens to Taylor Folklore is number one for them too.
It's so good. It also hit at the right time. You know, it's like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
cozy, we're inside,
yeah. We're
and
doing
Folklore
nothing.
came out, and I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one thing I will tell you about you is I really love the way you play the piano. It is
Oh
truly amazing. And
my God, thank you.
you know, sure. Well, because it means a lot to me because I used to play some piano, back when I was 6 or 7. My sister could play it like nobody's business. You know, beats me out of the water every time. You know,
Sure.
but you playing the piano just brings back those memories of me playing the piano, and I wish I did learn how to play the piano more. You know, but I I researched you before you came out, and I either heard or read that your wife talked you into playing music. I mean, playing the piano more than you did before.
Yeah, you're right.
Could you tell
I
us?
was an actor.
Okay,
So I came out to LA to be an actor.
right,
I
which is the
and I
American
got
dream.
classic, right?
Right,
The
yeah,
American dream.
yeah,
LA,
right,
be
yeah,
an actor, right?
yes,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I did that. I gave myself a limit. I was like, I'm going to do it for 5 years, see where I
mm,
get. And I got some good roles. I did. I got a series regular role on this digital horror series. I was the big bad for that series, and I did a couple movies. I did some commercials. I did some TV. I did some theater. Like I did a little bit of everything, but the gaps between each project was just too big. So I had to have a day job. I was a waiter, and I got really burnt out from just doing that. My career never really continued to progress. I just kept doing these bit roles and bit pieces
Yeah.
here and there. And so I was getting really burnt out year 6. And my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, said, "Pat, why don't you go play piano? You've been doing it your entire life." You know, I brought my acoustic upright with me from Chicago. I shipped it out with all my stuff. That was like a part of my stuff, right? I will never not play piano. And so I I told her, I was like, it's too close to my heart. I don't want to do it. I don't want to like bastardize the love for this instrument and for playing it. And she's like, Pat, are you kidding me? You're an actor. You wear
Yeah.
your heart on your sleeve. You don't want to bastardize your love.
Right.
You're an actor. Go
Yeah.
do it and try it. And if you hate it, then you hate it. But just go try.
At least
And
try
I was
it,
like,
right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, fine, Wesley, stop yelling at me. I'll go try.
Right.
And so, I mean, look, 3 months later, I got my first accompaniment gig over at an after school program called California School of the Arts. It was for musical theater people and pop singers and anybody that just wanted to explore those performing as an extracurricular outside of school.
Yeah.
So I got that gig, and then I got a couple background jazz gigs at random restaurants around LA. And then I got Tramp Stamp. I got my piano bar that I play at. I was actually able to make a living
Nice.
at that moment
Yeah.
out of playing piano. And so then I quit my day job as a server and I focused on acting and piano. So piano ended up becoming my day job.
Right. Right.
During COVID, all of that got shut down.
Yeah.
And so I thankfully had a little bit of like a reservoir of cash that I was able to use. And then of course, unemployment and all that stuff. And so I was really lucky to be able to do a couple different meditations throughout it, but like I call them meditations, right? But really they were just like, I did a radio play with my wife. She wrote it and I did the voice for it, the titular character. Private Detective Randy was the name. So it was this film noir comedy parody. Private Detective Randy, he swings both ways and misses every time. That was so fun. And so Private Detective Randy, little pitch for that. Go find it wherever you find your podcast. It's so
right.
Fun. And then I did some paintings. I did random paintings. I binged Buffy. And then I got into
such a great show.
Such a good show, right?
Yeah. It's amazing.
So,
I wish they would revamp that, but I don't know if they'll mess it up more or just, I don't know. I don't really
think it's like because the campiness, right, is so what it is and of its time,
right?
That I'm like, it's kind of perfect the way it is.
Yeah, don't change it at all.
Yeah. And then my third meditation, quote unquote, as I call it, when COVID was finally wrapping up, was this music education app that I co-founded, MuseFlow. And so that is my main passion project right now.
Right.
It's building this with some friends, and it teaches in a whole new way how to play piano. It's not the traditional way, which is where like you get a piece of repertoire, you get a song, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to go practice that to boredom. I don't know if you remember when you took piano lessons, but how did your piano lessons go? Do you remember?
I remember some of them. I remember playing at a recital. I played the Mickey Mouse thing, MICKEYMOU. It's just like a 30-second song, but at least I got it there played, But my sister was playing the piano first with Mrs. Doll something. I don't remember her name. And then my mom asked me, did I want to try? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try, But my handicap is I was born with cerebral palsy, which makes my right hand not move so freely as my left hand. So I can't really do the keys, So then I tried the guitar. I didn't really stick with that, because I couldn't form the chords. I guess I should, go back and try it now. But yeah, it's been a while since I played the piano, man. It's been years, so because I'm 44 years old right now, so it's
Oh
been
wow, you
like over decades.
you
You
do
know,
not look. You look like you're in your 20s.
that's what everybody thinks. So, yeah, so thank you for
Wow,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
incredible.
yeah, but when I played the piano, I was really liking it, but my right hand couldn't, keep up with the notes and everything. But I'm not upset. I'm just,
No, yeah,
so yeah. Um,
yeah, that's cool.
so you said you were a server too, or are you still a server along with playing the piano?
Not anymore.
Okay,
Not
good.
anymore.
Because I was
I'm
asking,
I'm
how do you
happy to
like it?
say,
I have a feeling
yeah.
you did not like the job because I work at Outback Steakhouse. People are mean, dude. People are so mean
Oh,
there sometimes.
yeah. You,
So
you get
I,
the such the gambit of people,
yeah,
It's a lot of different people that come on through. Some people are really nice, some people aren't. Some people tip a lot, some people don't. And you
yeah,
can't control it. It's like you can be you, but
mhm,
you really can't do anything to control that,
right,
you know?
yeah,
So I had to just be myself and
yeah,
just be the best that I could and as
yeah,
authentic as I possibly can be. And hopefully they would see through the bullshit and,
yeah,
see that I'm a real human being on the other side of this interaction. I didn't mind it. It was a fine day job, but
right, yeah,
I didn't like it. No.
yeah, yeah. But
So
guess what? Music never talks back to you; it talks for you. And I guess
mm,
I mean, that's the power of music right there.
truly, it is a language,
Yeah,
and I am lucky enough to be able to say that I can express myself through the language of music.
yeah,
That's the fun part of playing music is being able to interpret a song and say to yourself, why and how do I want to play this? There's got to be a reason behind how I want to affect this music to be able to translate a message to somebody else. It's communication.
mhm,
That's the fun part of playing music. And so if you can get yourself to technically proficiency where you can play your instrument fluently like a language,
right, yeah.
then you can truly express yourself through the instrument.
I'm so glad that you said that because I don't know if you heard of the Who. It's
Yeah,
like
I
a
love the Who.
Mongolian, yeah. So they did the cover song of Metallica's "Cyber True," right? But I couldn't understand what they were saying. But I could understand what they were saying through their feelings and their emotions and the way they play guitar and drums and everything. So yes, music is one language that everybody can understand. Yeah, I fully agree.
It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Pretty wild that that is a universal language.
yes, yeah, yeah,
I mean, I think we naturally hear like sounds outside and we hear like nature and birds and chirping.
yeah,
Tone and duration, pitch and duration and rhythm.
yeah.
Those are three things that have been in our environment since day one.
Mhm.
And that's what our music is made out of.
Well,
Pitch, rhythm,
technically,
and duration.
is it everything music? I mean, the breeze, the word, the way the birds chirp, the air that you breathe into it, and that all music, kind of.
I played clarinet back in high school,
Yeah.
and a composer that I was contemplating doing a solo of, he sat under a tree and notated bird calls.
Wow.
And so and then he created a solo piece for clarinet of just like bird calls.
Yeah.
So what he did was, it was pretty wild. He had the clarinetist do the single tone, and it just went, and it crescendoed into a very high, loud pitch, and then cut stop, very hard stop right at the end there, and then a weird.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. So he literally heard that and wrote it down. It was this weird, like postmodern
Well,
piece
yeah.
for the
Yeah.
clarinet.
That's
But yeah,
amazing.
everything is music, man.
Yeah.
Everything is music.
Yeah. So, I learned that you were a vocal coach also, which is very unique for me because I am not a very good singer, but I do sing in the shower, and people can
Great.
stand me singing. I think I sing like a dead horse. If a dead horse was dying, that would be me. But with your experience in both vocal coaching and live performances, how does coaching influence your own performance style and vice versa?
Interesting. I always end up like I was a sociology major back
Yeah.
in college. I started off as an acting major and then I moved into sociology because I didn't like the acting program at my alma mater. And so I ended up finding a really great perspective, the sociological perspective of being able to see from the outside in the institutions that we live within and being able to analyze the personal within the context of those institutions. And so that is kind of a direct one-to-one translation between how I coach people, how I see people in their performance. I see the macro. I
Okay.
see what they're doing from the outside and ask what's motivating you from the inside that's making that connection. So, number one, I'm making them more aware of how they're doing the piece. I'm trying to create connections between their motivation inside and how they're performing the piece on the outside. And so I always try to include that in my own practice and my own performance. A
Mhm.
lot of the stuff that I coach for is musical theater auditions. And a lot of the stuff that I sing is musical theater. So it's inherently telling a story. And you're telling a story from the perspective of a character.
Right.
And so that sort of journey of what's motivating this character, to sing these words in that certain way. Let's create those connections for you and then act and perform those connections.
Right. Yeah. Uh, so can anybody sing or because okay, so
No,
there was an app, huh? No,
not anybody can
not
sing.
anybody. Okay, you're good because that was my question to you. Because there was an app on the phone. I think it's called Sing something. Um, where you sing into it and it tells you what you are. I am a bass. It tells me, you know.
Yeah, you are.
So,
Yeah.
but I kind of I want I agree with you that not everybody can sing. Because
I want go on. Sorry. I'll
no
finish
no
your
no
sentence and then I'll kind of I'm going to roll that back a little bit because I have some
oh
thoughts on that too. Yeah.
yeah oh, yeah please do yeah because I think you need like you need to. I've heard that if you could understand the tone, you could sing. And you need some kind of other thing. I'm not sure what I heard, but with me, it might take me years to learn how to sing correctly, you know. But for you, I guess it took you several months or like 1 or 2 years, you know. But I want to hear what you have to say about that.
I think anybody can sing.
Right,
Singing itself is just sustaining notes.
right. But
That's at certain pitches.
I
That's
think
all it
I,
is.
I think I'm I think I misworded it. Singing correctly, you know, so you don't blow out your voice. You know, I'm
Oh, sure.
singing at the right pitch. Can anybody learn pitch?
I think anybody can learn how to sing correctly because that's just a technical thing. That's
Okay.
just breath control and placement within your body. Where are you resonating?
Yeah.
Right. That's and so you're not blowing out your throat. You're resonating up here. You're resonating in your nose. And if you think about a, a a spot just right directly outside your throat, outside of your nose, just right above it and outside it. And if you think about resonating that thing, making that part, whatever that is, this weird ephemeral ball that's right outside of your nose, if
Right.
you try to think about that vibrating and making that vibrate when you sing, you're lifting the tone off your throat and the pressure is not going to be there. So again, it's a very technical thing. I do think anybody can learn how to sing properly. Yes. But I do think that there is something called tone deaf.
That's
And
what. Yes.
and there is something called like rhythm. People just can't hold a rhythm.
Right.
It's a thing. They're programmed not to for some reason. Same thing. And
Yeah.
again, same thing with pitch. So it's you don't understand or you can't figure out, you don't hear that you're off pitch and you don't know how to not be off pitch if you can't recognize that
Mm,
you're off pitch. And
right.
the sheer fact of recognizing that you're off pitch, some people just don't have.
Right.
So in your definition of singing properly and singing correctly,
Correctly,
then
right.
I don't think everybody can do that, because there is a certain population that doesn't even recognize that they're
Right.
off pitch. But I do think that no matter what, even if you're off pitch, doesn't matter. I sing and play at my piano bar. There are so many people that are singing off key.
That's it.
So
Okay.
many.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because they're enjoying themselves. They're having such a
Right.
great time, you
Yeah.
know? So it doesn't matter if they're doing it wrong.
Right.
As long as you're having a great time and you're doing it in a community with people that are like-minded, that are really enjoying the vibe that's happening there, it doesn't matter. You're having a
No.
great time. I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no rule to music. I mean, there are some rules, but the main rule is have fun with it. You know.
Yeah. As
So,
long as you're enjoying it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you familiar with Slayer? You know, the metal band Slayer.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Tom, the lead singer, sings in monotone, and I don't think that's singing per se, right? Because monotone is just talking like this, and you just go with whether we have to say, and that's it, right? That's how he sings this song, right?
But you're still delivering a message. You're still a
Right.
storyteller.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a couple other bands too where they like speak sing, you know.
Right.
Like what's that classic song? High heel. Oh gosh. Long hair and oh gosh. Cake.
Cake. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect example. What an incredible band.
Yes. Yes.
They are all so good at what they do, but the lead singer doesn't sing.
No.
He sings his poetry.
Monotone, like Tom. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it monotone. I do think he has
Okay.
a good sort of like up and down. He has a
Okay.
great way of telling the story and affecting his voice in a way that is so interesting,
Right.
you know? So he's able to really vary it up a lot, but he's talking. That guy's
Yeah.
talking in a sustained way. So it's not technically singing, but damn, can he tell a story?
Right.
That's really all it is, though. Can you tell a story through song?
That's all that people want to hear, you know, stories, you know. And I feel like now, I mean, you had country that tells stories back in the 80s and 90s with Johnny Cash and those were stories.
Yeah.
Now it's just what happened to me on this day. It seems like, you know. And I
Some
see,
of them are for sure.
and I see more storytellers coming back, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Because what was old is new again, and that's, you know, that's right. Yeah.
Totally. The cycle continues, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, do you find that storytelling is more of a emotion for people now instead of just hearing about what happened to them on a particular day?
I think of storytelling like anything, really. Me telling the story of what I ate today to you
Right.
is a story still.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I think I'm using the word story in such a loose way that if you can tell somebody a journey, a beginning, middle, and end, that's all you need for a story.
Right.
I went to the grocery store and I picked up some eggs, and there was one egg that was broken inside of it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it anyway. And so I went there, I paid $5.50, and I took it back home and I cooked some eggs. That's a story.
Right.
So I'm like, I can see the value in both. I can see the value in these like beautiful, longer stories, these epic sort of songs that are telling these grand stories. But I could also understand the value of a very specific moment in somebody's life. And let's explore that through poetry and song.
Yeah.
I see the value in both for sure.
Right. Right. I know that you worked as a play. You've been in plays for, I mean, like major musical auditions like Hamilton and Phantom of the Opera. But I would ask you about one thing that caught my eye: Willy Wonka and the Weed Factory. That's such an amazing title. You gotta tell me all about that because I'm fascinated with that.
A freaking play. Okay. So my wife, girlfriend at the time, we hadn't been married yet, and a co-writer of ours or co-writer for hers at the time, they decided to make a parody of Willy Wonka called Willy Wonka and the Weed Factory. And instead of it being a candy factory, it was the
The weed
first
factory.
weed. It was the first weed dispensary in like Iowa or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
And so, and it was you know, behind closed doors, this guy named Willy Wonka comes on in and builds this dispensary. And finally, when weed is legalized, it opens to the public. And what is it? And so it's this weird sort of parody of Willy Wonka where the tropes of the characters, what their downfalls are,
Right.
greed. Oh God, what are the other ones? Like the other kids in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They all have similar
Gluttony or
downfalls.
something. Yeah, gluttony.
Yeah. Gluttony,
Yeah.
greed. I want it now. Right.
Yes.
That's the greed.
That's a Baruch Assault. Yeah.
Baruch Assault.
Yeah. Which is a great man, by the way.
Baruch Assault? I don't know.
Oh my God, you never heard of Baruch Assault, the band?
I'm gonna look them up.
Oh my God, dude, I think they came out in the early '90s with Volcano Girls. Volcano Girls was their one and only hit. You know, they're great. They're two females. Great band. You gotta look them up. And then in South Baruch Assault because of the Willy Wonka girl.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
okay, cool. I'm totally gonna look them up.
Yeah,
I love your. I can already tell like what kind of musical tastes you got.
Everything.
You do have a lot.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. This was
so. Back to the musical. It's like it's just a parody of Willy Wonka, but it's also a like an edutainment piece that explains like the benefits of weed and all the tinctures that you could have and CBD and how it can help, you know, with pain and stuff. And so there's a weird element of like, oh, so what is that back there? Well, let me tell you. You know?
Come back to it all day. Right. Yeah.
Let me tell you the benefits of that certain thing. Or like how does THC, how does it get extracted from the plant, you know, to make these tinctures? Well, let me tell you, Billy. I'll tell you how to. Yeah. So this weird edutainment aspect to it. I was the music director for that. So my wife and her writing partner brought me all the lyrics that they rewrote for all the songs because they wrote it to the regular melodies of the songs. And
right.
so they brought me the
lyrics. Right.
Yeah. And so they brought me the new lyrics and I fudged with them a little bit because neither of them were musicians. And so I got it so that it was tighter and cleaner and funnier. And then I rearranged all the songs. I put them into the sort of jazzy piano vibe thing. It was piano. It was a small little musical that we did here in South Pasadena. I think the house was like 60 people.
Right.
And we did that for like 3 nights in a row. It was a small little play, but it was packed and people loved it. And I was the music director for it. And I rearranged all the songs in this sort of jazzy way. And so that was really fun for me. I had a really great, and then I played Willy Wonka.
Yes. So. Yes, which is great. Yeah, it is funny how had their government banned it for years, but when they found out that they can do wonderful stuff, they found out how to tax it. And now you can buy it. Right. It's like, come on, man. You got to be, you know, for years they, you know, geez. So
I know.
But I'm sure you've been to many high stakes auditions such as Hamilton and Phantom of the Opera. Can you share a memorable moment or lesson that you learned from accompanying such high stakes with auditions?
Yeah. So I was the accompanist.
Okay.
For just some auditions out here in LA, and I still do that on occasion. And so a couple of productions, you know, Phantom of the Opera and Hamilton, or a couple other ones too, that were relatively higher stakes. But a lot of the time, people will come on in to audition, so they just have to throw music in front of me, and I have to play it.
Right.
One of the things that I struggled with for a little bit until I just like clicked for me was just, if you're messing up, just keep going. Just keep going. It doesn't matter. You don't want to mess up the singer. The singer is the main focus here. They're the ones that are auditioning and you're accompanying them. So you don't want to mess them up. So you just need to keep going.
Yeah.
If you are messing up and you stop midway through the song, you're screwed the whole thing up. You just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lesson that I learned from
Okay.
accompanying.
So
yeah,
you
accompanying
sight read,
auditions.
right?
Yeah, and
Right.
this kind of goes back to the music education app that I'm building.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I find anybody who can sight read such a fascinating person because I don't understand how somebody looks at somebody. I mean, looks at the music and just does it automatically. It just blows my mind away. So I admire your brain and your eyes for keeping up with the pace. It's
Well,
great.
let me tell you how I did it.
Yes.
So I took 8 years of lessons playing piano. Hated every minute of it. My parents had to ground me because I wasn't practicing. My ADD brain did not work
Yeah.
with the traditional ways of teaching piano, which is here's a song. Here's a new, actually, let me go back. Here's a new skill, right? Here's a new note or a new rhythm. And now the teacher tells you those new things, a new note, new rhythm, and then they give you a song, one song or two if you're lucky, to go and practice for that week. That exercise, that new rhythm, that new skill.
Right.
And then you have to come back, you have to practice that to boredom, and then you come back to your teacher and they check it off. Either it's perfect or it's not. And you have to go back and practice those same songs again,
Right. Over and
just
over and over.
repeating the same thing over and over and over. And I hated that. I hated that so much that, again, my parents had to ground me to practice. Cut to 8 years later, and my teacher retires. No fault of my own. He just retires.
Right.
And then I stopped playing piano for a while because I was really burnt out with it. And then I ended up going back to my piano and finding some sheet music that my parents had. And it was musical theater songs. And so I flipped them open. I found little phrases, little motifs that I really enjoyed, whether that's a little melody or a pattern or something like that. I just really enjoyed this one little bit. And so I closed the sheet music. I kind of memorized that little moment, and then I improvised around it. I put it in different keys. I put it in different time signatures. I transposed it. I flipped it. I put it in the right hand, put it in the left hand. And then I was like, cool. So I feel like I exhausted all the different sort of contexts that this phrase could pop up in. Cool. I had a great time with that. And now let me go back to the sheet music and continue through that song and find another little phrase that I enjoy. Take that out, put it in my head, close the sheet music, improvise around it, flesh it out, really put it in different contexts. And then I was like, great. And so I just kept doing that for a while. Over years of doing that.
Yeah.
I was able to, I then realized when friends started putting music in front of me in college, because I played for a bunch of friends back in college as well. I realized that I could sight read a lot of that stuff because I had practiced those skills. The building blocks of what make those songs up keep popping up in all different songs across genres. Jazz,
Right.
pop, rock, musical theater. Patterns are patterns. Humans are drawn to that, and they use those same patterns across the board. So I was taking the building blocks of music and learning those outside of the context of songs. And I was like, whoa, that's a very unique way of learning. And so that is ultimately how I was able to sight read, how I'm able to sight read pretty much any musical theater piece right now.
Right.
You put a musical theater piece in front of me, I know all the patterns and I know all the melodies. I can just do it because I had learned those skills outside of songs.
Over and over and over and over. So I understand. Well, I think you weren't. Well, I guess your parents won't ground you anymore because you're a professional right now, right? Yeah.
Honestly, I do thank them like every time I can.
Yeah. They have some good. Because every kid is like, Mom, I hate you, Dad, I hate you. What are you doing? Why are you making me do this? Years
They're
down
like,
the road.
You'll thank me later.
That's what we hear all the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about this, but I think when you go to your website, thepatrickbolin.com, you can download people can download your set list of songs that you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's 700 songs on that.
700 songs. I still can't fathom you learning to read all those music notes. But the majority of most of those songs are really four notes, right? I mean, if you really sit down and think about it, correct?
I think a lot of songs are four
Within
chords. They're
four
four
chord,
chord
yeah,
progressions.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
A lot of pop songs are four chord progressions. You
yes,
can play so many songs that are four chord progressions. Yeah.
right, yeah. So with that, in your transparent brandies, which is awesome name by the way, still, how do you select your set list to keep your audience engaged? And do you ever experiment with mashups? Like because
Oh,
mashups are like a thing now, and they're great.
not necessarily at mashups because the whole point of a piano bar is to get people singing along.
Okay,
And so if I'm like changing up the song to what they're not expecting, then there's just no, it's not about me at the end of the day. I'm just kind of facilitating the experience of them having a great sing along time,
right,
right? So if I do mashups, it's either it's a very small mashup or I'll just add in a phrase here and there, but
yeah,
it's never anything substantial. The way that I do it is I have a QR code that I post around the bar.
right.
Um, and I say that, and it's to go, it goes to my song list page on my website, and that song list page is broken up by genre. You can, I don't know if you saw the one that's actually broken up by genre. I think you might have seen a different one.
I saw a lot of. I think it's no. I haven't. I just saw the whole list of songs.
The
Yeah,
whole list.
yeah,
Yeah, no. So the one that I have a QR code that goes to at my piano bar, it goes to a page where there's all the different genres that I
right.
play. Disney musical theater, millennium, like 2000s pop rock,
Yeah,
uh 1990s pop rock, 70s through 80s, 60s through 70s,
yeah.
and then
All the good
jazz,
decades, right? Yeah,
holiday,
yeah,
all of them, right? So I got all the genres, and then I they click on they do it on their cell phones, right? So they put the QR
yeah.
code, they've got it on their cell phones, they click on a genre, it pulls up all the songs that I know within that genre. And then there's a little thing that follows them, and it says to request a song, click here. They click here when they find a song that they like, and then it goes right to my Venmo.
Right.
And so they send a Venmo on over with the song in the message box, couple bucks. That goes to my phone, which is my digital queue, and I play that in time. So it's an all request show, but I just give them all the songs that I know ahead of time so that they're not requesting songs that I don't know.
Yeah. So and I'm sure you've heard of many mashups. Then to now. What's your favorite mashups of all time that you could think of? I got two that I really want you to check out. One is
Okay.
called Thunderbusters. It's a mix up between Thunderstruck by AC/DC and Ghostbusters, the theme song.
Get out of here. That sounds awesome.
Thunderbusters, yeah, it's so great. And my favorite of all time is South of the Grapevine. That's I can see you like what? That's Slayer South of Heaven mixed with a Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Best mashup ever made. South of the Grapevine.
I don't think I have a favorite
Okay, yeah.
mashup.
Well, there's so many to go through. It's beginning to be ridiculous now. How many mashups there are?
I mean, I think a classic for me is just "Don't Let Me Down" by the
Yeah,
Beatles,
right.
going into "Give Peace a Chance"
Yeah,
by the Beatles. It's not even a mashup. It's just like they're in the same key, and you can just play both of them at the same time.
right.
And so it's just, yeah, I think that might be my favorite mashup, but it's the
Yeah,
Beatles, and you're like, it's the same
it's the same.
artist, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the same thing, dude. Right.
yeah.
Well, since you mentioned the Beatles, which I love you for that because the Beatles were one of my all-time favorite bands. I
They're
got
incredible.
I got to ask you this, okay? Would you prefer Rolling Stones or the Beatles? Just listening
Beatles.
to them. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. I'm a Rolling Stones fan, but not as much as man. The Beatles have my soul and heart.
Incredible. I mean, speaking about stories, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got songs like Eleanor Rigby that is just
Right.
it's thematically a story, All the Lonely People.
Yeah. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so they're telling these little bite-sized stories throughout that piece that have that theme, all the lonely people.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're incredible. They were incredible storytellers and incredible at their instruments. They
Right.
weren't technically proficient. I wouldn't call them that, but I would call them consummate storytellers. And they were able to use their instruments to evoke such emotion through
Right.
their instruments. They were so freaking good. Incredible.
Well, I heard a lot of people saying that what's his name Ringo Starr can't play the drums. I'm like, look at Mr. Woods on the Rolling Stones. It's the same thing, you know. So
Mhm.
I don't know why they hate on Ringo and love the Rolling Stones drummer. It's
I
I
don't know,
guess it's
man.
like, I don't know what it is, you know.
They can keep a great beat, and they are the core, the constant
Yes.
driving factor behind it. Doesn't
Yes.
matter if the dude can't play complex stuff.
No. No.
Doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to at some point. You don't.
Well, back then it wasn't even thought about, you know, playing the blast beats
Right.
and like 34 times speed. That was not even pondered back then, you know. It had to
No,
take generations to evolve, you know. I don't know.
totally.
Yeah.
That's a really good great analysis. Totally true though.
Yeah.
What a new instrument, the drum kit, right? Back when the
Yes.
Beatles were a thing.
Yeah, I love drummers. I got a co-host. He's a drummer. Um, I like drummers because they're the backbeat of the whole song. You know,
Yeah.
without them, I mean, you just have sort of like a rhythm, but you won't have anything to fall back on. I guess you know.
Yeah, true. Right.
Hmm.
Gotta have it there.
I do.
You will know if a drum is not there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And some songs are so good without drums. Some good are better with drums. You know, it's just I don't know. I just love the drums.
Me
But
too.
going back to you, having with played such a wide variety of instruments, to tuba, ukulele, guitar, I presume.
Mhm.
Um, that must influence your approach into arranging and performing music. How do you decide which instrument is best suits for that particular song or project?
I don't write originals myself.
Okay.
I I only interpret other people's songs. So I consider myself an adapter more than a creator. That being said, most of the time, 99% of the time, whatever song the instrument was written on, that's what I'll play the song on, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But if like a piano is just simply available and there's no other instrument available, I'll just play the piano.
Right.
I play it runs the gambit over at Tramp Stamp. What song pops up on my queue from somebody's request, but all of them are played on piano.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to kind of I also go genre wise. A lot of the times I'll be like, okay, cool. If I'm arranging a piece for a folk musical,
Yeah.
I'll generally speaking use folk instruments. I'll use a mandolin, a cajon, which is a
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of drum.
Right.
I'll use an
Like,
upright
sit on.
bass.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
use a banjo, an acoustic guitar, not electric, those kind of things. So genre definitely dictates which instruments are appropriate.
Do you prefer the acoustic guitar over the electric or the other way around?
I personally do.
Okay,
But
good.
I think there's value in both, of course,
Well,
but
yeah,
I prefer playing
yeah,
acoustic guitar over. And I've got nylon strings on my acoustic guitar right now, so I'm making it
yeah.
even more muted and
Right,
mellow,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
quieter.
There's millions of songs that are twice, 10 times better on the acoustic, just the acoustic.
Yeah,
But then again, I love stripped down songs. You know, 'cause
totally.
with the acoustic, I fall in love with it every single time.
Yeah,
But
I dig
yeah.
it.
So I have three more questions. I hope I'm not going over your
Oh
time.
no, please, please.
Okay, thank you. All right, um, so is there like a personal music goal that you haven't achieved yet, and how do you plan to challenge yourself in the coming years to make that dream or goal happen?
I Thanks for asking. I I want to be able to influence people's education. I think that the traditional way of teaching music is outdated, and with the technology that we have available, we can reinvent it and
Yeah,
make it better And so that's what we're doing with MuseFlow. We're teaching you how to sight read first, and then apply those skills that you're learning in the sight reading trainer to songs that get unlocked. So we've gamified it a little bit. You have to get 4 phrases in the sight reading trainer. You have to get 4 phrases of music at 95% accuracy at the goal tempo to be able to pass a level. Then you've ostensibly learned that new skill, that new rhythm or that new note. And then songs that use that new note or new rhythm get unlocked at the end of that level. And you can then go and practice those songs. Now, here's the thing. You're going to be able to play those songs so much better and so much faster. Like, you're going to learn how to play those songs faster than with our method than if you were to just have learned that song. So without the sight reading component of it, it's a dull process, because again, you're repeating these songs over and over and over, trying to play it technically proficient. But with the sight reading trainer, you're learning the skill outside of the context of a song.
Right.
It's this infinitely generated music that continues to adapt to how you're playing. When we include that personalization and the infinity amount of music that you can play, you're learning that new skill in this very broad context, that when it pops up in that one specific context of that one specific song that gets unlocked, you can play it. So that is my new goal. Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
That is my new goal with my music endeavors, is to be able to give this app out into the world. It's already available. You all can download it and use it for free. We have a monthly and 3-month or a yearly subscription.
And that's museflow.ai, correct?
Museflow.ai. Yeah.
Cool. Perfect.
So that's my new endeavor, and people are loving it. We're getting incredible feedback.
Nice.
So the goal is to revolutionize music education from the ground up to include this methodology. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm so happy that you have you created this app, because I feel like if we make music somewhat easier for people to learn, the more they want to learn,
I won't even say easier. I'll say it's going to be still the same difficulty, but it's going to be a lot more engaging the way that we do it, and a lot more fun the way that we do it. So I guess in that circumstance, it's going to be easier. Yeah.
Because the app will recognize errors that you make, right?
Yes. And adapt the music
and
based
you
on
how
how
to
you're
fix
playing.
it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And also the fact that you're learning in this constant stream of music, this constantly generated music that's being put in front of you, and you have to continue to play with that metronome. Just continue to go. Forget about those errors. It doesn't matter if you're fucking up. Just keep going, man.
Right.
And then keep going, and eventually you'll embody the music. You'll play perfectly. Oh my gosh, I'm getting it. I'm actually getting it. Boom. You pass the level, this big dopamine hit happens, and you can then play those songs that get unlocked. Yeah. This would never be able to happen without the technology that we have available today.
Right.
So because of our team is really cool. We've got a music composer, a music teacher. We've got 3 technical co-founders of ours. We've got a back-end engineer who loves our databases. Right. Who has never touched a piano in his life. And which is so good for him, because he's learning through MuseFlow. The dude's at level 18 already.
Nice.
So 20. And then we have a classically trained pianist as a front-end engineer. It's a wild story about how I met him. I met him at one of my gigs playing background jazz. I walked into the restaurant and I was like, who is this guy just like playing the piano? Right. And so I go over to him and I'm like, dude, you're so good. He was playing like some Chopin, some like classical piece. Yeah. And I was like, you're very good. Do you just want to like, do you want to go back and forth? Do you want to play a song and I'll play a song? And he's like, yeah, man, I'll just like come on in here sometimes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so he'll play he played a classical tune. I played a jazz tune. He played a classical tune. I played a jazz tune. Yeah. And we started talking, turns out the dude lives right down the street. He's a software engineer and he's a classically trained pianist. Yeah. I buy him dinner. I buy him a couple drinks. I show him our pitch deck. The dude was on board. He loved the idea.
Yes. See. Yeah.
And then we've got a data scientist who's a machine learning guy. He creates all of our ML models, and he's incredible as well. He's a bassist. He's an electric bassist. He plays in a
Right.
band
Yeah.
over in DC. And so you're like, what a dream team. I'm honored to be working with these guys, and we're making something really, really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. That is my passion project. And again, the feedback is really cool. People are
Nice.
loving it.
Nice. And well, I mean, it sounds like you got the Space Force X team with you, so that's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Because, well, going back to what you say about they're like, God, I know what it's. I can play this now. That dopamine hit is so strong and invites everybody to do it more.
Yeah. And that's why I don't say easier. Like
Right.
they're not learning easier,
Okay.
but they're learning so much more fun and engaged with
Right.
the process of learning.
Yeah.
Because number one, they're in flow state. They're in this state of utter transfixing on this one task that they're doing. They're learning in such a flow way that they're engrossed in what they're doing. Time goes away, and they're in that pocket where their skill meets the challenge. They're just being challenged just a little bit above their skill level.
Right.
And that's key for flow state. Everybody wants a goal. But if the goal is way too high, then they're going to get frustrated. If the goal is way too low, they're going to get bored.
Right.
So we place them in this flow state where the challenge is just a little bit above
It's just right.
their skill level.
Yeah.
Just right. The Goldilocks zone of the challenge.
Yes, exactly. Too hot, too cold, just right. Yeah. Yeah. So I got two more questions if you would still like to. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the big four, I call them the big four, but for purposes we're gonna call them the Mount Rushmore of music. Who is your big four of music? It can be any genre, any band, any album. What's your go-to when you feel that you want to like release from this world and go into some kind of tranquility state? Who are your big four go-tos?
I think my tastes kind of rotate. Back in college, I was super into folk. Back in post college, early time here in LA, I was really into classical. If we're gonna go the most profound, the most the bands or the composers that have changed my life, it would be the Beatles. That's number one. I guess I'm going back.
Always in forever. Yeah.
I didn't grow up with the Beatles. My parents didn't allow them in the house. No.
Really?
My dad, he was abused when he was a kid, and when they were coming up in the music scene, that was when some of the major abuse was happening in the household for him.
Oh man.
And so he associated bad times in his childhood with the Beatles. And so he never played it in the house. So I actually only started listening to the Beatles back in college when a great friend and collaborator of mine, Tommy Maliff, that dude ended up putting on the Beatles for me because he grew up with the Beatles and he loved the Beatles.
Yeah.
He made me a mix CD.
Nice. I remember those. Yeah.
So he made one for me. And we ended up busking. We ended up playing
cassette tapes, bro.
Oh my God! What?
Cassette tape, man. I got a whole lot of them. Like right over there. I got Kiss. I got 9 Point. I got what the hell do I have? I have so many. Yeah, bro. I mean, these are coming back. These are coming back. Yes.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it though. Yeah. Cassette tape. So he burned me a CD of the Beatles, and I ended up just going through them all, and we ended up learning that entire CD together. And him and he went with his mandolin. I played my acoustic guitar, and we sang downtown in college for money on the weekends. We made good money on the weekends,
right?
Just playing together and singing together. The Beatles.
Yeah. Beatles. Yeah.
Number one, and then
so that's number one. 3 more.
Beethoven.
Okay.
I think the guy was revolutionary.
He was deaf too, right? Deaf.
In his later life, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Because I
Um,
think that was when he wrote his biggest symphony, correct?
seventh, I think, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I love the way that he infused jazz into his writing.
Okay.
It wasn't called jazz at the time,
Right.
but you look back at the chords and they're what are called very romantic chords.
Yes.
And but if you really look at that, if you analyze those chord structures, you're like, oh, that's jazz.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool. I ended up having to analyze a couple of his pieces back in college and realizing that like the foundations of modern jazz and analysis started during the romanticism, and then we took African beats and we took Afro-Americana and we kind of like used our music theory analysis
Right.
of the romantic period and just kind of like translated that to the Afro-Americana blues scene and their jazz. And so we kind of just worked together, theory and music kind of working together to create modern jazz.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, Beethoven. Right now, I'm super into Jacob Collier.
Okay. I don't think
You
I've
know
ever
that guy?
heard of him yet.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a band. I'm going to give you
Yes,
him to listen
please.
to.
Yeah.
You need to listen to Jacob Collier.
Okay.
The dude is a prodigy when it comes to jazz.
Okay. So
And a mixture of genres. The dude will throw in some metal into his newest album. There's a
yeah.
song that included some metal in there. Jacob is huge. He has perfect pitch and his analysis. He's also a really beautiful teacher.
Yeah.
He's a very good teacher. So that's 3.
So just Jacob. Okay. Jacob Collier. Okay.
Collier. Yeah. Let me know what you think about him, because he
Oh yeah.
doesn't sound like he's like in your sort of wheelhouse and like what you would like.
Oh, I
But
listen to everything.
okay, great. I'd love to hear
see,
what you think.
see, back in high school, I listened to nothing but Metallica, Megadeth, all those heavy metal bands. But when oh, hold on. Yeah, that's Joe Cocker. But I actually hit the button. But yeah, but during my 20s, I opened up my view to everything. You know, jazz, rap, country, rock, pop, anything. You know, my favorite genre of all time is forever and will be country.
Oh,
That's what I was
really?
raised on. So yeah, yeah. So
I think I'd also then go Simon and Garfunkel.
perfect. I mean, yeah.
Bridge Over Troubled Water. That is I think that's an album. I've listened to that album
Yes,
like 3
yes,
or 4
yes.
times.
That is the title of yeah,
And that's one of those albums that I could just listen to straight through.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay. So we got Jacob Collier, Beethoven, Beatles of all time, and what was the
Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. Thank you. I'm so sorry. And I'm sure that list will change tomorrow or within a few minutes because I can't. I mean, my top four would be like Misfits, Metallica, Megadeth, Tool, but then in 5 minutes it might be something else. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing what music can do. You know.
So cool, right? And music
Yeah.
is one of those things. It's like whatever's speaking to you at the moment.
Yes.
My like Spotify liked playlist is only 300 songs long. I really keep it tight.
Only right.
I know.
Yeah.
But I know some people that like on their liked playlist, they've got like 10,000 songs.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you do? What's the point of that? So anyway, doesn't matter. But I use it anytime that I just put it on. I will always find something that I want to listen to, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, music is such a powerful tool. And it gets you out of trouble, I guess, because if you're listening to music, there's no need for you to go out and do, whatever you want to do. I don't know what I'm saying to you. Okay. So our last question for you, and I ask this to all my guests, and this is the hardest question yet. Okay? Are you ready?
I mean,
If it's
maybe.
hard, okay. And I don't want to scare you off, but it's easy if you know. Okay, so is there a song, an artist, or an album that you can listen to right now, but you can't tell me, your friends, or your wife, or anybody else how it makes you feel deep inside your soul?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Why? I think that it's a weird thing, right? Music is so personal
Yeah.
that I don't need to find validation in how I experience music from conversation with other people.
Mm.
Um, is that what you're asking? Like if you were to listen to an album and you weren't able to tell anybody how you feel about it, is
Right.
it worth it? Is that what you're asking, or am I just misinterpreting the question?
Um, if if you are like without anybody and you listen to a song that makes you cry out of no reason at all, I guess that's my question is like, what song like involves your soul? It involves your soul, which is so deep for you to hear. You can't tell anybody how it makes you feel.
What
Do
song
you
is
want to know
that? What song is that?
what
Let's hear it from
song,
you.
artist, or album? I um I my song is this is another band that you need to research. It's called the Dead Deads.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Great band, you know. Um, they have a song called "Santa Beamed Us Up" or "Santa Beamed Me Up." You know, and I can't explain it how it makes me feel deep inside of my soul. You know, it just does something to me that makes me break down and cry every time I hear it. You know.
There are two songs that do that for me.
Okay.
Um, I cry a lot but see, here's the thing, like I'm able to explain. I'm lucky enough
Okay.
to be able to have the
Yes.
words
Yes.
to
Yeah.
explain why these things make me cry.
Right.
Well, or I can just be like, or I don't really know like exactly why, but I can be like, I can point to certain things. I can be like, it's the melody,
Right.
or I can be like, it's the accompaniment,
Right.
or I can be like, it's how they're playing this or how he's singing it. Two songs in particular come to mind. Number one, Fleet Foxes. I was raised up believing I was somehow unique, like a snowflake,
Yeah.
distinct among snowflakes. What is that? Um, I was raised up believing I was somehow unique. Helplessness Blues is the name
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
And the lyrics are, and I can tell you why it makes me cry a lot.
Right.
The lyrics are, I was raised up believing I was somehow unique,
Right.
like a snowflake distinct among snowflakes, unique in each way you can see. And now after some thinking, I'd say I'd rather be a functioning cog in some great machinery, serving something beyond me.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that will be. I'll get back to you someday as soon as I can see. What's my name? What's my station? Oh, just tell me what I should do. I don't need to be kind to the armies of night that would do such injustice to you, or bow down and be grateful and say, sure, take all that you see, to the men who move only in dimly lit halls and determine my future for me. I think about that with like uh, educational institutions.
Mm.
Like I don't really bow down to like academic institutions really. I think
Right.
real world use case of your skill is going to be the greatest teacher using it, right? Anyway, the last lines are, if I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm raw. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore, and you would wait tables and soon run the store. Someday I'll be like the man on the screen. And so to me, I'm like, I'm a little perplexed by those lyrics, but to me, what it means is like, I have such high aspirations to be an artist. I have such high aspirations to affect people with my music, but I also deeply romanticize a simple life of going out into the field, tilling the land, going home, and making love to my wife.
Okay.
That's it. Like that's
Yeah.
all I want to do. I want to watch a sunset and I want to have a lovely evening and I want to work hard and I want to do that over and over again. But then at the same time, right at the tail end there, he says, someday I'll be like the man on the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you'll always have that artistic aspiration inside of you to go be like what you see on the screen, the actor on screen.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's a perfect mixture of this push and pull between I kind of need to live in a metropolitan area to be able to do what I do and to affect people in the way that I affect people. But also I romanticize the shit out of a very simple life.
Right.
And living on a farm and tilling the land. Like I do. So I have this duality and this push and pull within me. I will always cry at this song.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you can express that, because there are songs for me which I can't, and that's what was like the song from the Dead, Sense of Being Built Up, It reminds me of my uncle that died a few years ago, but I can't tell you how much he meant to me, And that song brings me back to that time when I remember him just having fun, But I can't tell you how much my Uncle Mike meant to me personally, And so that's what I was trying to, see about the songs for you,
I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's one of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you
But
explain that?
I understand not everybody can do that, not be able to express their feelings within the song, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird,
I think music is one of those things. It hits so deep in the core
Yes.
that it's hard to express why it hits you so hard sometimes.
Yeah. And I know
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for listening. Yeah, because I know there's like some scientific fact, but then again, it's like that always doesn't mean that,
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know what I'm saying because I don't know how to express it, which is beautiful, So I guess, yeah. So music is just a unique tool that everybody hones in like deeper to themselves. I guess.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
I'm
you're
trying to
so
say.
right. You're so true. It lets us explore the inner workings of our own soul.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. It goes back to the quote of like,
when words fail,
of your
music
podcast.
speaks.
When words fail. What's the whole quote? Hold on. When words fail,
music speaks.
Go.
Yes.
But no. The whole quote. One second.
Okay.
Do you know it?
I didn't know there was a whole there was a whole quote. I just took that little thing.
Say it again. Say it again.
When words fail, music speaks.
Oh no, there's more to it though.
Oh, there is? Oh.
Yeah.
You're teaching me something new.
One sec. I want to try to find this because it was like, it's such a beautiful quote.
It is. Or it could be because I've heard where words fail, music speaks. But I said when words fail, music. But I've seen two different things. I've seen where and I've seen when. But I found the when words fail brings that more power to it,
Oh yeah, okay. I think you're right. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
There's there's nothing like directly online.
Okay. Yeah.
Of the whole thing, but I remember reading it just a couple of hours ago. I was like, damn.
Really? Oh. It's perfect. Perfect.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
Yes. You do, yeah.
It was something about though, like speaking, like where words fail, music speaks, because music speaks so deep to our hearts that words don't often express those feelings.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I
don't know, but if you find it, please send it to me. I would love to.
Yeah, I will
look into it more. Yeah. So, all right. So we honestly do thank you for coming on, sir. And this has been a marvelous conversation. I hope you enjoyed this. And for all of our listeners, you can visit Patrick at Patrick Bolin BOYLAN.com, and he is on Instagram, IMDb actor. He's been in some movies, or check it out too. He's on X, formerly known as Twitter. I still understand it. And
Yeah.
of course, LinkedIn. So yeah, but we honestly thank you so much for
Yeah.
this, and we hope to God you come back anytime you want to. You know.
Oh, thanks, man.
Uh,
Great chatting with you, dude. Great
yeah,
chatting with you.
yeah. So all right, okay. So for everybody else that's listening, always remember when words fail, music speaks. Bye, guys.